look at you, big winners. Hello. Congrats.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much.
Thank you.
You guys actually had a very impressive run besides winning. You only placed outside the top five one time.
Wow.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, and although it was near disaster,
Yeah, no, that
like
one time was rough.
really rough,
Yeah.
so let's not like oversell it.
Well, talk me through Bulgaria. You guys, did you just drive the opposite direction? What happened?
Oh, it was a whole host. Just like anything, if you talk to any racer, there's just these little intricacies that domino effect and things like that. But basically, we made one wrong turn, which we knew we had made, but the next direction of the five directions that they gave us was head towards Burgas. So we saw a next sign towards Burgas. We were like, okay, well, at least we'll be heading in that direction. Little did we know, Burgas is a different city.
Like
Um,
on the
on
opposite
the
end of the
opposite end of
country
Bulgaria. It's not
that
a
have multiple
street.
highways that go there that
Yeah.
do not intersect.
And we
Yeah.
knew we were supposed to get on the one freeway towards Burgas. Little do we know, we run into super easily the A1 freeway
Towards
towards Burgas.
Burgas.
So we said, let's get on. That's our girl. We drive about an hour. There are parallel freeways, the A1 and the one, both going towards Burgas. They never cross. So we're on the way looking for the next direction, and we realized, and we did. We stopped many, many, many times. We just got mixed up with the A1 and the one. And so eventually we had to just turn all the way around, go all the way back down the A1, and then find the one and then go. But it was just that one direction.
And there's definitely moments during this leg. I mean, you don't see any other racers. You start to think like this is it, right? Like you thought this was the leg you were out. So when you realize that you are still in it, does this change anything for you moving forward?
It changes
Everything.
everything.
Everything. I think we were actually incredibly lucky to have messed up that badly because knowing that if you can survive that, you can survive anything was a
It
total
hones
gift.
you.
And I
Yeah.
also think, yeah, like to that point, like, you know, even though we were 3 hours behind, like we were still having fun. We were like not gonna die. We weren't like the sky is falling. We were like, okay, we made peace.
We've
Let's
had an
have fun.
incredible experience.
And then
Yeah.
so when like going forward, we knew like, okay, if we're ever in a time where we are not doing so well again, like we can at least know that we're gonna have fun and it's not gonna be the end of the world. And I actually think releasing that pressure from ourselves really, really helped, especially in the final leg.
Yeah. And we kept having this mantra, which was use our obstacles as opportunities, especially once we heard that this was the season of twist, when Phil told us that on the mat, and we knew there was going to be all these things coming our way. We said we can be scared of these things. We have two options. We can be scared of these things, or we can use them and be excited about them and try to use them to our advantage. And the same thing went with getting lost, right? We could be like, oh God, like now I'm stressed, and what if that happens again and it was the worst day ever or whatever. Or we could be like, we could use that and say, like, now we have this superpower of being able to overcome anything. It was just a mental shift. From then on out, every single thing, no matter whether we were in last or first, it felt like a gift, right? Where, of course, if you're in last, sometimes it can feel like a curse, right? But in that last leg, no matter where we were, it felt like it was a gift because we had already made peace
with getting seventh place.
With getting seventh place. And so that was it was a gift for us. Yeah.
The double U-turn, you guys gave a vote to Jonathan and Anna, and we saw them get a little upset about it. Was there actually any fallout, or did you guys mend fences?
There was some
There was
fallout.
fallout.
Yeah.
They felt like we did them dirty, and maybe we did, but we had to do someone dirty. And we knew they were going to get some votes, so we decided to throw our vote on them so that like we weren't getting involved in a new piece of social drama.
Yeah.
We then talked to them. They took a little bit of time to, you know, come to terms with that. And then I think we sort of continued the race. Um, you know, we weren't like best buddies ever again, but we had respect for each other. And
Mhm.
and I think that's what, we respected each other, especially as
As
competitors.
game
Like
players,
they
yeah.
were amazing
Oh
racers.
my God.
And, they will, I think, maybe go down in history as, even though, they had many toils, they always pulled it out. And I'm very impressed by them.
Yeah, and two, I remember they did take some time to sort of heal from that U-turn vote, but it was also again obstacles as opportunities is like once the opportunity arose that it was really in Dubai when we were experiencing these sort of like larger than life sort of magical moments that we could like come together, and that's really when we started to like sort of mend that relationship. You jumping out of the plane with Anna, I remember, and the whole plane before you left, you went, "I love you all seriously," because you're like, if this is it
This
for
might be
me,
it. These are
yeah.
my people I'm going down with.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah.
so like you know, I don't know. That was an opportunity to mend because in Dubai, everyone sort of zoomed out and was like, "Look at this magical experience we're
Yeah.
having."
And like also beyond that, like I understand how they felt, but to us, I think like our greatest compliment to someone is like taking the game really seriously and trying to get them out. Like
Yeah,
we talk to
Josiah was
Josiah and
yeah.
Alyssa and Mark and Brett all the time, being like, even during the race, being like, we hope you choke. And like, but like we love you guys. And like that is a form of love in this race when like your competitors are so good and you respect them so much that you would do anything to see them go home.
Yeah, yeah.
This last final leg, oh my God, you're here, but this has to be so stressful. You do seem like you keep your lead the whole time. When you're at that final puzzle, do you ever see Han and Holden?
We did not see Han and
They
Holden.
were not there.
You had
Yeah,
quite the
It was
lead,
some
did ya?
magic. It was some magic. It was some
Yes.
magic. And it was a very exciting last episode. I love that they did that. But yeah,
yeah,
it was crickets in there other than us.
yeah. I mean, who knows? But because they had sectioned it off, so it was like different sort of rooms. But we didn't see Han and Holden. We did see them at the sort of
Sailing.
the sailing. But of
Sure.
course, there was no wind. We were paddling. Everyone was paddling with their hands. So
Y'all, that sailing, I was dying. You were doggy paddling in like a bathtub sailboat.
it, I'm telling you, there was no
What?
option. Like
There was
every team was just battling. Like it was like I keep saying it was like we were in the Truman Show. Like we were on a studio set where there was no wind.
and
Like
yet all these like 8-year-old pro sailors are like going like and like it was crazy.
it was
It made no sense.
crazy.
And yeah, I feel like I looked like one of those like ladies on the bow of a boat. Like I was like off the boat, like
Yeah.
yeah.
But it took us so long. I mean, it took us probably an hour to an hour and a half to go around the island just paddling. And so we knew unless these other teams were gonna,
Catching wind.
yeah, we're gonna somehow catch wind. We when we were coming back, we saw Han and Holden going out, and so we were like, okay, I think we have about an hour to an hour and a half on them.
Yeah. And then I
Okay,
think they got in
nice.
an accident. So
Yeah,
like we didn't know that, but
yeah.
yeah. So
So you had
yeah,
a comfortable pace. You were able to enjoy it a little bit.
I think we enjoyed like
Everything,
everything
yeah.
about
Yeah.
it. Like
You
I
guys
don't know.
lived out your fantasies. Apparently, I didn't understand any of your gamer references, but it seemed like you were living the best life. I loved it so much. Carson, how has your life changed now that you have been knighted?
Ah, oh,
It's so unfair.
Jack, is he a
Like
terror now? Is he just an absolute
yeah,
terror?
he's
yeah. He
terrible.
has to
He
call you
calls me he
sir.
calls
Yeah.
me his squire, his page.
No, no, I don't. I actually think I'm surprised they didn't edit it in. Even going up, we were like, look at that castle. And we were like, even just seeing the castle was so amazing. So then to be suited up in a suit of armor and then do archery, it just was like they say everyone has their challenge on the race, that like this one was made for you. Like when we were carrying that wood, we were like, this is Pops and Jeff. Like everyone has their challenge, and we knew it was like, thank you, producers. Y'all knew what you were doing with this one because this was our big one.
Yeah.
What was the big highlight for you? What was the best leg or the best task?
Oh my gosh. I mean, we talked about it already, but skydiving, I'm like, will never feel like that again. Like that was something special. And yeah, I think just like looking into people's eyes as you are about to get sucked out of a plane, there's something very, and especially after these are people you've only, they're the only people you've talked to for the last
Yeah,
weeks. These are your people, and there's something so invigorating about that.
yeah.
That was everything to me.
I mean, yeah, for me it is Portugal because of the suit of armor and just how beautiful it was, but there was something so again so magical about the entire Dubai leg, about how back to back everything was, right? It was like sleeping in the desert to get into a jeep to go to a camel to ride across the desert to go skydiving to then scuba dive is such a layered, like it was all on top of each other that it just kind of can't be beat as a leg
Yeah.
of like a memory in my mind of what we experienced that day. But every leg just was so special. So I mean, it was incredible.
How has having this experience together changed your relationship?
I don't think it's changed much. Like I think we like used and ran with the things that really work about our friendship. And so like I think those things have strengthened, but I don't know if like necessarily we've changed too
I
much.
actually think the biggest change was actually right before the race. We went to
Definitely.
therapy together,
Mm,
and we learned so much about expectation of how the other
Yeah.
person acts or speaks or whatever, and how really it's the onus is always on us to self-soothe. You can't expect the other person to act any type of way. They're going to act the way that they feel they need to act, and you have to you know, if we're both under that assumption, we know we're doing the best for each other. And I actually think that was like the biggest takeaway was like right before the race. And we learned something that I think
Changed
won
and
us
won
the
us the
race.
race. Yeah.
mm. Wow, that is really interesting. Well, what is next for you guys? Got a little bit of money coming in.
I know.
Yeah, who knows? I keep sort of going back to this race being sort of this like love letter to like the freaky and weird nerd communities that we are a part of. Like
You
they
know it, Nerdtainment. I
Nerdtainment.
know a nerd when I see one. Yeah.
Yeah, like honestly, like I think I attribute so much of our like support of each other and of also our like feeling like we can make a fool act a fool, we can like we're passionate about like getting excited about all sorts of weird, strange stuff and playing games. And I would love to see that money like feed back into a project that can further that for other people. Like we've talked about maybe designing a board game together, or maybe making a board game shop together, or starting a fantasy tavern here in New York City. Like there are so many sort of community spaces that could feed back and give other people the experience of like being nerdy, passionate gamers together that just would be, I think, full circle for us. But
Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah. I think also like, the money is freedom to do to follow your bliss and your passions, and that's what being a nerd is just being passionate about
Passionate.
something.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and so I think that we will always be nerdy about something that's coming. Our nerdiness changes on a whim. We're nerdy about a million different things, and but it will definitely be feeding into the next nerd project.
It'll definitely be gay. It'll definitely be
Yeah.
nerdy.
Love it. I'm on board. Sign me up. So fun to get to know you guys this season and to watch you. You are very deserved winners. So, so
Thank you.
lovely. What a wonderful season. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so
Appreciate
much.
it.